Nothing. Okay. Yeah, I think people will start once they see that we're live. They'll start. More people will start coming. But we got a good group here. Cindy, welcome. I'm glad Ian's here, and Ashley Duran, and Jinda and Ronnie. Um, so looks like we are live on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube and Periscope and Twitch. But I have it on speaker view, so it's only the person speaking right now. So not all of you are on there. And if you have any issues with that, you can just you can stop your video. Just a heads up. Matt just texted me. I'm not sure what that is, Matt. I'll have to read that once. Okay, well, welcome everybody. This is the People's Town Hall. My name's Justin, and I want to introduce our first pal speaker, a friend of mine, and great community activist, Octavio Barajas, uh, to,
Hi,
to speak on anything he wants to. You can speak on anything you want to.
right on. Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you for the chance to speak, for the invitation, Justin, and good evening to you all who were part of this People's Town Hall, and to anyone who watches this, otherwise live or maybe after this recording. So I just wanted to say a couple of things. I think one message that I want to communicate is that I am part of a planning committee called the Ricardo Favela Planning Committee. And this committee is dedicated to bringing in conversations about Chicano art in the Tulare County. So I wanted to just put that on everybody's radar. We have some events that are coming up. I'll post the flyer in the chat box, especially for those who came after I posted it earlier. You can have access to that. We're going to have an event on Thursday, February 18th, and it's going to feature Dr. Ella Maria Diaz, who is a Cornell University professor. She's going to talk about the Royal Chicano Air Force, which is a Chicano art collective that was active in the late 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and still have some active members from those days as well. And so this art collective was very grassroots, supported different social justice movements, including the UFW, Dolores Huerta, Cesar Chavez. And so one thing that they would do that was very awesome is that they would show up to support events on the spot, and they would like have their printing materials in their vehicles, of which they would be able to print out some awesome, beautiful art, art with the message. So a lot of the protesters would have their art like on the spot. And so Ricardo Favela is a name that we're honoring with the speaker series, who was born and raised in Dinuba, Tulare County. He attended a COS and transferred to Sac State and became a art department professor. And so it's very important to, he's passed on. His resting place is in Tulare County, and we're going to honor his memory with these events. So February 18th is our next event, and March we'll have the exhibit going live in Visalia. And so we're going to have a series of talks that we'll have also to really raise the profile of the events that we'll be having in the month of March. So stay tuned for that. And another message that I would like to also just kind of um, add to the conversation, if you will, would be great for those of you who may be following the activity taking place at the state, all through the state with ethnic studies. Lately, there's been a lot of conversations taking place by Visalia Unified School District, at Redwood High in particular. So I think that's a really an important issue that the community gets involved in really vocalizing their interest and support for ethnic studies, to have the legacy, right? The legacy contributions of African Americans, of American Indians, of Mexicans, Chicanos, Asian Americans, Hmong, Filipinos, those experiences at the center of curriculum, right? Having those experiences, not just peripheral, not just, hey, we're going to talk about it on X week or on this month or on this day. No, let's talk about it, for the whole school year in these classes. So there's a lot of interest for that. There's a lot of conversations happening. School districts as close as Fresno. Fresno Unified has ethnic studies as a requirement now, and so these are conversations that are happening here. in our backyard here in Visalia, here in Tulare County in different ways. Students are vocalizing that interest. So if I can be of further guidance to anyone who may be interested in doing that kind of stuff, you know, apart from teaching ethnic studies at the College of the Sequoias, I'm more than happy to collaborate with people in the community too, to making sure that, you know, that moves forward. So, and then I just want to give Brian Osorio plug as well. He actually published an article today in terms of the importance of the environment. So I think environmental justice is something really key. We're all, you know, breathing, you know, this contaminated air in the Central Valley, something that we can relate to. And I think, you know, our lungs, not just human lungs, but the lungs of other species, right, deserve better. And we need to be better to this land. You know, and so definitely. So also, you know, with the respectful land acknowledgement to the first peoples of this land that we occupy, right? The Yokuts people. So with that, I would like to just say, and keep your eye out for more events of the Seen and Unseen, the Ricardo Favela Expressions of Chicano Art. And I look forward to hearing the dialogue taking place in this forum. Thanks, Justin.
Yeah, no problem. Anybody have any questions before Octavio might have to take off or anything? Anybody want to chime in on any of those things? I know there was a lot there to kind of all take in, and might have to watch the rerun of it and everything. But I'll post, you know, in the comments also because we got people watching on Facebook already. I'll post some email if that's okay, Octavio, so people can get a hold of you if they're wanting to get involved. Ashley, do you want to have anything to say?
I
Yourself though.
I do have a question. I a big issue I do have about the education that we receive in the Central Valley, or at least in Hanford. What I did is not visiting like local cultural centers here or anything like that. Like Allensworth, I just made a post about Allensworth, which is in Tulare County, and I just wonder if Allensworth is taught in K to 12 over there at all, if they get to have field trips there, because I know um I used to go with my nana when I was little, but we've never went over Allensworth, and I feel like that would be a very like inexpensive field trip that students could go to, or at least watch the video. They do have study guides on Friends with of Allensworth, like for teachers to talk about. So I want to know if you know if it's being taught, at least in Tulare County.
Um, I'll try to respond. I'm Allensworth. For those of you who are unaware, Colonel Allensworth and a group of other African American leaders came into the Central Valley of all places to establish an African American community. And so it has a remarkable history. That in itself is a gem of history in our backyard. It's not taught enough, Ashley. Unfortunately, it's not known enough. I teach it in Black American Studies course that I teach, and often many students come in learning about Allensworth for the first time. So that's I think it signals the fact that, you know, public education is not teaching Allensworth as much. There isn't enough research on it either. It was actually facing the risk of being demolished several decades back. But it was a community that came together, says, no, this place is a way too important, you know, for it to be done away with. So I'm not aware of an actual lesson plan, but these are the kinds of things that need to be done. Like an educational lesson plan that could be adopted in Delano, in Early Mart, in Hanford, everywhere. Like, because it's like, you know, so close to us. It makes for like an easy visit. And the Amtrak actually has a stop at Allensworth. So how convenient is that? So I think more needs to be done. I thank you for bringing that up, Ashley.
Absolutely, because I do strongly believe that during the also like I know the students don't learn enough about like the Yokut tribe either. And like I live in Hanford, and like there is like a cultural center or something like in Lemoore, which is like 15 minutes away. And my nephew just recently did the studies in like his 4th or 5th grade. And I asked him if he heard of the Yokut tribe, and he's like, no, they didn't tell us anything about it. And I was like, that would be the perfect opportunity when he's doing a report on indigenous people in our in around the world or in California to go over the tribe that actually lives here. And I feel like a lot of our schools are just missing the stuff that's even around us that they can be taught in K to 12. It doesn't have to wait until college level. Like people should be knowing it when they're younger. So then,
Yeah, no, that's absolutely right. We have so many resources around us, and you know, physical resources like museums and things like this, but a lot of keepers of knowledge who've been involved in different things here locally. So that's a wealth of knowledge in itself. Different peoples who've been a part of this movement historically. So I think there's also that opportunity as well for the oral stories, those traditions, those talks like that. And you know, that's so critical. But yeah, very important conversation. Thanks again for bringing those up, Ashley.
And Ashley, do you want to introduce yourself? Because when you did, we weren't live yet.
um, I'm Ashley. I am the lead organizer for Black Lives Matter Hanford. There you go.
Thank you. All right. Anybody else have anything to chime in as far as what we were just talking about? Lucia looks like she has her hand raised.
I
Dr.
just
Lucia,
want to,
you can
yes, I
introduce
just want to,
yourself and
yes,
then.
hi, Dr. Lucia here. No, I just want to say thank you, Octavio, and I put the seen and unseen email in the chat as well as the date of the exhibit.
Sweet. Awesome. Thank you. Um, and welcome everyone else that just came and everything. So, anybody have anything to speak on before we get to some
There's a question in the chat.
question in the chat? What is the question? I don't see the question in the chat. There's okay. Scrolling.
Oh,
Ashley Durant, do you want to ask your question, or do you want me to ask the question?
I can answer the question. I was gonna ask like, how can we listen to Indigenous voices, and like in what ways, in like a small community or like in like Visalia?
Anybody have anything to chime in on that?
You
Lucia?
know, like, yeah, when you say Visalia, you know, there's the Wachumni tribe is actually here in Visalia. They don't have a reservation, they don't have a casino, they don't even actually have a building or a place, but they
What
do
was the
have
tribe
a
called? What was the tribe?
Wachumni, the Wachumni tribe.
Okay.
And then you have in just in Lemoore, just down the street, you have another tribe there, and then even up at the Thule reservation. So really knowing your lands, knowing whose land you are on, and just being respectful and what that means, and then reach out to them and just say, hey, there you go, thank you. Well, tell me, he put the Professor Octavio put the correct spelling in the chat, but you can reach out, and I know that Professor Octavio and Gus and many of us are trying to find ways to get that kind of information out. What's important, and where do we go for that kind of information? And so I would love to ask some of the members of the tribe to come and have a talk. And they did. They've been doing different things like readings, having Native American books, readings for children, and also they sponsored a video about gathering. So there are opportunities to learn from the tribe themselves. They are reaching out on social media to do stuff. But if we do get a little better organized, that we can like this that Gusbo slash Justin Stein has been doing, maybe we can organize something and invite them to see if they would come and ask some questions and if we would, ask them for their knowledge and time to do that. It's possible.
Does anybody have anything to say though about like, because I think the rest of the question was asking Indigenous people about environmentalism and sustainability. Anyone have anything to chime in about that specifically?
Yeah, I think Lucia has really contributed some important, you know, ideas in terms of having future talks and inviting, you know, First Peoples. That'd be directly, you know, that'd be the best way to get that kind of connection. It's kind of hard right now because of a pandemic, but not impossible. You know, we can be creativity and find ways to connect. Ashley, you mentioned a wonderful resource there in Hanford, right? Access to like a resource, a public space where you can actually find out. I would say take advantage of those opportunities when you're in spaces like those, even if it's maybe the Casino Lemoore or even the casino in near Porterville, Eagle Mountain. If you're interacting with you're gonna come across indigenous peoples on those lands. So, and the reservations, right? And so if you, the Wachumni, as Lucia mentioned, that's, don't have a reservation, but there is, they're in Visalia. So it's one of those things, if you're interested, begin, your search. It's like, one thing is, the difficult part sometimes is knowing where you want to go, right? After you know where you want to go, you'll figure it out. You'll get there. If that's what you want, you'll make those connections to knock on those doors. I do teach American Indian studies as well. And one thing I would mention, that the names of indigenous peoples, you'll have like your standard name that you'll see. For instance, like the Navajo, everybody would know that name, Navajo. That's kind of like the name that's more common. But amongst the people be a different reference, like Dene, right? So this is the same thing too with the Yokuts. It's like a general name, but within that larger name of the Yokuts, it's common. You have all the different clans, the different tribes within them. Like that's where the Wachumni come in, and you have, so many more. And so like that's just a little bit more information to offer. And that's what you'll come across when you come and interact, have those sensibilities of just of that conversation to get to know folks, and try to let's try to rehumanize ourselves in the process when we're interacting with folks like that. And so I think another organization, Central Valley Environmental Justice Network. I want to drop that name in there too. You're talking about environmentalism, Ashley Duran. That's an organization to get connected with, of doing like environmentalism, and they will already have these kinds of connections to local indigenous peoples, and also indigenous peoples that have come from other places and live in the Central Valley today, like the Purepecha from Michoacan, or the Mixteco from Oaxaca, who live in the Central Valley in great numbers. So I'll just add those things too.
Anybody else have anything to chime in?
I have, like, I know I follow Valley Natives for Change on Instagram, and I feel like that would be a good resource to also look into. And I feel like if there weren't the big push, or at least help with the push to changing the mascot name in Fresno. But I think that would be a great resource to try to connect.
I guess, there's some Instagram accounts that you could try to reach out and follow. Cool. Well, anybody have any other questions? You can just speak up. You don't have to put it in the chat and whatnot and everything. And I think we're going to have some music if there's not any other questions, but feel free to ask some questions. I know some of you already have to go, which is fine. We're going to be doing a lot more of these town hall things. But thank you for the questions, and thank you for all the information that we've already got and everything. So think of some more questions right now while we have our first musical guest, Ex Vaman. And Ex Vaman, do you want to just give a brief introduction about yourself? What you kind of if you're I know you were Matt was telling me you were possibly active in the Black Lives Matter movement, but you don't have to really talk about anything specific like political or anything, but you can just get to the music. But you can feel free to share who you are and whatnot, and what you do, and then the stage is yours.
I mean, we're Ex Raymond. I'm Douglas, the guitar player. That's Nate back there, the drummer. We're only 2 people at the moment, but I mean,
it's all good.
But yeah, when we plug in though, I mean, I'll just probably play like a little bit just to see if y'all can hear us, just to make sure.
Yeah, you can do a quick centering.
Okay. Hold on. Go in. Why isn't it working? Okay, there we go.
And then, Alex, do you want to possibly speak up next on anything? I know you have some stuff coming up on Friday that I still can't sleep about.
Yeah, I can go next unless you have somebody else, but absolutely.
yeah, stoked for the club meeting. We got Phil Arbayo coming on Friday night for people to talk and ask questions about. And I can't sleep at night because I don't know what to ask him. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. But what time does that meeting start? And what time is he speaking?
So I sent out an email already. We are going to have Phil Arbayo be our guest speaker at the Tulare Democratic Club meeting Friday. And 6:30 is the time I think people should check in, but the meeting starts at 7. That's when the guest speaker will start. And if you don't know, Phil Arbayo ran for Congress this last election cycle. He didn't win, but he did an excellent job in promoting vote turnout. And we got an election in 2 years, and we have to organize now. Everything has to happen now, so we're not caught off guard or unorganized. This next cycle, we are always learning as we go, and I look forward to talking more about it and other stuff after our musician gets going.
All right, Excavon, unmute. Go ahead and unmute. You're muted still, Excavon. Excavamon. I can hear you, kind of. Yeah, I hear that. As long as everything was good, everything is the same way it was for the sound check that we did. It should be good. That we did the other day. So yeah, go ahead and look over here in the middle of it. If I'm going like this, that means stop. So you're good to go. It's not coming through for some reason. Like it's fading in and out. Like before, I could hear you like totally loud. And was anybody able to hear any noise? It was like pretty quiet. It was like we could see the drummer hitting it, but then I didn't hear any sound. So you in. Because I remember, I don't know if we went through it, but I know there's something called turn on original sound, and I can walk you through that also. But if we could possibly have a hash take over if they're ready, and let you work on the sound. Okay, hash says he can go if you guys want to try to still work on everything. Exclamon. All right. Hash, unmute, and maybe you can chime in for Excavon and figure out what's going on. All right. Looks like Hash is getting a guitar. Anyway, let's see. Question. Lucia has a question.
I can do a quick one while we're waiting.
Yes.
I'm going to put in the chat something that just came out from the county of Tulare. Oops, that's not it. That's you. I want to talk about redistricting. So redistricting is first they do the census every 10 years, and then once they find out where all the people are, they cut it up differently so that it follows rules that would be better suited to distribute resources, to distribute representation. So just now, the County of Tulare has uh, released their plan. So each supervisor picks someone to be on the committee, and then people apply, and then they pull one out of the hat. So it's both a lottery. So if any of you, and for those of you not in Tulare County, you also want to check your counties to see where they are in the process, then you could also be able to show your voice as to where you think the line should be drawn and where there are communities of interest. So as soon as I stop talking, I'm going to go back and pick up the Tulare County information and put it in the chat. But just so you know, when it's there, that's what it is. But I'm kind of slow technology. So there's my commercial. And again, let me know if you have any questions. And Alex probably can talk a lot about that as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, redistricting. Yeah, I'm wondering if Devin Nunes is even going to be around in our district over here in Tulare County, but probably I'm guessing, but I'm not sure. But X1, did you get it squared away, or should we have Hash's band go? It says turn off. Okay, so yeah, you have. It says turn off original sound. That should be good. If you want to do a quick little sound check, I can let you know if what's going on. But yeah, it was working the other day. I heard the distortion pedal and everything. It sounded good, and the drums were good. But now right now, it wasn't working. But go ahead and unmute. I hear that. I hear that. We hear that. Perfect. Sounds perfect. All right. Take it away. you guys are shredding. That was really good. Real quick, do you guys want to briefly mention anything like your thoughts on the whole Black Lives Matter El Diamante issue with the signs? Like, did you guys? I know was that what was your take on all of that?
I thought it was kind of pretty messed up because I mean they were like they say they were all for it, but then all of a sudden they were like, no, take them down, and I just thought that was kind of stupid.
Yeah, I'm glad that they start getting people at least some other spaces. Now they got some of those signs in some art galleries, so that's pretty cool. I just realized my computer almost died. Would have been pretty bad. But yeah, thank you for playing. We'll talk probably a little bit more about the Black Lives Matter signs I got defaced, but now are housed in a art gallery. Some of them that were still there, that are still intact. But Shahid Buttar, thank you for coming. You are our featured guest. Do you want to just introduce yourself real quick? I think we might have Alex Gutierrez, the president of the Tulare Democratic Club. He was planned on speaking next. I don't know how much time you have, Shahid.
I'm happy to join you for 15, 20. I don't want to be a bull in a china shop, and I want to respect whatever else you got going on, but I'm super stoked to join you, and glad to have caught what I did in the last musical act. I'd be happy to talk. I'd also be happy to sing a little bit if you keep it more cultural, if that makes more sense.
Both would be pretty cool. Alex, do you have a time crunch, or is it okay if Shahid he only has 15 to 20 right now?
I have no time crunch, and I look forward to listening to Shahid.
All right.
Thank you. Shahid, for your reference, just to be clear, it's the difference between a martyr and a witness in Arabic. And my laugh line is, I'd like to stick around and talk about it.
So it's Shahid?
Shahid, as if the shaman hid the medicine. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, Shahid, the stage is yours. You can introduce people, tell them who you are, what you're doing, and what your plans are in right now and with running for office, and then you can speak about whatever, and then of course performing would be awesome as well.
Right on. Thank you, Justin. You're really kind, and thanks for organizing this space. I recognize that we're all coming together to help support the community, and I'm stoked just to be a part of it, and appreciate your effort pulling people together, especially at a time like this, when circumstances do so much to pull us physically apart. The idea that we can be physically distant and yet still socially together is profound. And thanks, I appreciate you making that happen. So yeah, my name's Shahid. I live in San Francisco. I ran for Congress in 2020. I got 81,000 votes to replace the sitting Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, as San Francisco's voice in Congress. I ran at Pelosi from the left. I'm a democratic socialist. I'm a Muslim. I'm an immigrant. My earliest political acts were shutting down weapons manufacturers during the Iraq War and acts of direct action resistance here in the Bay Area. I went to Washington twice for 5-year stints as a policy advocate and a grassroots organizer. Had a chance to bring one of the first marriage equality cases on the East Coast. My client was the mayor of New Paltz, New York. This was back in 2004, long before marriage equality was either established, and frankly, long before it was popular. Democrats were not, by and large, supporters of our work in that era. And I'm proud to have stood at the vanguard for the establishment of new rights, at a time, especially when I think a lot of people see the trajectory as having been unhelpful. Let's say, I think of the establishment of marriage equality as one of the bright spots over the last 20 years. So I worked at the Electronic Frontier Foundation. After that, I led a national nonprofit on the East Coast for 6 years dedicated to fighting the Patriot Act. And the real reason I ran for Congress, first in 2018, I got as many votes as Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez did in the first election that we each ran for. This was in 2018. And then in 2020, broke into the runoff against Pelosi. I was the first Democrat to ever face her. And now I'm in the interregnum. Having just won 80,000 votes, I see Democrats having run the table in Washington. And, frankly, in the last 4 years, I think we had a great many excuses for not getting much done, namely an asshat in the White House who is now thankfully gone, and It means that Democrats don't have excuses anymore. We have to deliver for the American people. And I, frankly, having seen Nancy Pelosi for 30 years as my voice in Congress, know how that's going to go. And I'm eager to offer an alternative. I stand for universal health care. I stand for climate justice. I particularly, if there is a thing that I wield some depth in and expertise, it's fighting authoritarianism. A great many Americans over the last 4 years, in the wake of ex-President Trump's ascension, came to fear authoritarianism. I have recognized fascism in the United States since 2001. And to be perfectly frank, for people of indigenous or Black backgrounds, fascism has been here longer than the Republic. And that's a challenging thing for many liberals or even socialists to grapple with. But the fact of the matter is, when we think about the way that race intersects with class, the unique way in which race stands apart is precisely in this dimension. It's why we are driven to say that Black lives matter, because Black people and brown people, somewhat uniquely, are the ones who don't literally have due process rights or a presumption of innocence or a Fourth Amendment or a 14th Amendment, like they're words on paper that apply theoretically to everyone. And the way we know that they don't is that Tamir Rice, a 12-year-old Black boy in Cleveland, can end up dead within 15 seconds of a cop showing up to him playing with a toy gun in a park, right? The reality relates to the words on the paper, as do actions to words. We say sometimes that talk is cheap or actions speak louder than words. Similarly, policy outcomes speak louder than the rhetoric. And we have a rhetoric about equal justice for all. And we have a reality that is nothing like it. In 2015, I was arrested in the US Senate for asking a question. I was writing an article and I asked Director of National Intelligence, James Clapper. He served under Obama. He was the official who had claimed just to set this up, in 2013, he'd been in a hearing, Senate Intelligence Committee hearing. Senator Ron Wyden from Oregon asked him, is the NSA monitoring millions of Americans? And he said, no, not wittingly. And it was about 3 weeks after that Edward Snowden revealed to the world that the NSA is absolutely monitoring a great many Americans and everybody else, and it is quite witting. James Clapper, to his credit, confessed later that his words were too cute by half. And I had an opportunity to ask his lawyer at a conference the next year in 2014, the Cato Surveillance Conference, did you correct yourselves, or was it Edward Snowden who corrected you? And his lawyer said it was Edward Snowden. And I asked, how is the man still serving? His lawyer said he got bad legal advice, threw himself under the bus. And so I resolved at the time at this conference, I want to ask James Clapper this question, because his lawyer just weaseled out of it by trying to fall on his boss's sword. And I was curious. I asked James Clapper at the end of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee hearing. The hearing is over. It's been gaveled closed by the late John McCain, was the chairman of this hearing. And like any journalist would, I stood up as the witness was leaving the room, and I asked him, how do you justify never facing a charge for perjury despite lying to the Senate when Eric Garner was choked in the street to death for selling cigarettes without a license? Before it was George Floyd, there was another very prolific instance of murder viewed by tens of millions of people of a Black man saying, I can't breathe, while he was choked on camera. His name was Eric Garner in New York City in 2014. And I asked how we permit different systems of justice. And there was, I walked out of the room in handcuffs, and James Clapper has a pension. And so that's why I ran for Congress, basically, because I recognize, and I have recognized for years, that the promises of our country are more rhetorical than real. And I endeavor to make them real. I'm an immigrant to the United States. I'm a very proud immigrant. I'm a very rabidly patriotic immigrant. In fact, maybe I'll pause to sing a song. And this is not autobiographical, just to be clear. But I think it'll get to that patriotism. It comes out in the hook. So I'm part of a military family. My brother served in the U.S. Army. And this is a song about no one in particular. Graduated from high school, wanted not to be abused. The tool I needed money to get me my piece of paper, signed up for the money man's military capers. Surprised to find myself on a transport boat, shipped across the wide blue Atlantic moats. You know the rest of the tale she wrote. Maybe then again, you don't see I've been shooting at brown people in the sand, giving Halliburton and Bechtel a hand on what principles will we take a stand. I am a patriot devoted to the land. I got off the boat in a base in Basra, saw people everywhere running around, lost and found a colonial country once again beaten down. Been off in my convoy in my Humvee, every 20 seconds dodging RPGs, paying elevated fees to contractees. All the pills they got can't stop the shaking in my knees since we've been shooting at brown people in the sand, giving Halliburton and Bechtel a hand on what principles will we take a stand. I am a patriot devoted to the land, so I was driving up north in the Sunni Triangle, feeling pride in my flag starry spangled, and suddenly I found myself in metal tangled from my hip what used to be my leg. Dangles, my body's in the driver's seat, his body's incomplete. Where he sat before now sits a piece of meat. The flag on his coffin folded nice and neat, but in the wintertime his widow won't get enough heat, 'cause we've been shooting at brown people in the sand, giving Halliburton and Bechtel a hand on what principles will we take a stand. I am a matriarch devoted to the planet.
Nice.
Cheers. Yeah, that's the Baghdad Blues. It's off my debut album, Get Out of Your Chair. So yeah, I came up as an MC at protests and rallies, and I've organized a bunch of collectives of artists. It started while I was at, and then continuing after I graduated from law school at Stanford in 2003. I've been fighting for your rights for, I guess now about 20 years, and eager to take that fight to Congress. I'm especially, I mean, this might have come across with the song. Well, maybe I'll do one more rhyme for you all before I turn the mic back. But if there's a principle that I would want to particularly draw out here, and I think this gathering embodies it. You know, it's one reason I'm excited to connect with Justin and see the organizing that he's doing, is the connection of culture to politics. You know, politics is not just a mental or intellectual exercise. Like this is the fates of our communities. It's whether your kids have a bright future or a dismal one. And it's up to us, you know, our actions in the future, in the present, will drive and determine the course of the future. And for that not to just be an exercise that is teeth grinding, but one that actually engages us as whole beings with heads and hearts, you know, a creative movement that encompasses not just our critique of a power structure, but also our building of a culture, a people's culture. And, you know, I see the remixing of revolution and recreation as being a very powerful synthesis. And it's one reason I'm proud to be a part of this gathering tonight. So maybe another rhyme. I wrote this long before, probably around 2008, I guess, as Obama was coming into the White House. And I'm reminded of, there was an op-ed in the Independent. It's a British newspaper by Ahmed Rabbani. He's a detainee at the Guantanamo Bay Detention Center. He's been there for nearly 30 years, nearly 20 years. And there is a stain on the conscience of our country. And I remember when we elected a president, it would have been much longer than that now. Jesus, can that be right? Yeah. 14 years ago? Am I getting this right? Jesus. Yeah. So 13 years ago, in comes to office a president who promised to close Guantanamo and tried. And the story of the Obama administration's attempt and inability to close Guantanamo over the objections of congressional Democrats is another reason that I'm running for Congress, because we need Democrats in Congress who understand what it means to fight the executive branch, who understand what it means to defend privacy, defend human rights, defend civil liberties in the face of executive power, especially in times of crisis like this. And so this rhyme is about some of the continuity that connects these sordid spheres. So 3 generations ago, a war consumed the whole world. What for? Millions were slaughtered from Warsaw to Okinawa, but that's not the worst that our species saw. The world's worst criminals, they built an agency, an engine for crimes against humanity, invasions, assassinations. Coups d'etat in independent foreign nations paved the way for human rights violations, murdering priests, raping nuns, mining harbors, killing sons, embezzling funds, bribery, oil extraction. Each war served to enrich a different faction, but in action, always winning, weapons companies, their executives grinning, their hair thinning, yet trying to live forever. Their greed paved forests, mountains, deserts, whatever stood in the way of their conquest together. Today, we fear the weather. Every year, more brutal. People die in wildfires and wars for crude oil. Climate chaos was contrived by a feudal mercantilist imperial agenda. Wars for profit turning rivers magenta are basically Wall Street trashing the rental. Each era's crimes compound those unresolved. Murder mysteries en masse, unsolved. It's called history. Studying can solve our cycles of oppression. We need to evolve. In 50 years, the CIA built an empire. The fears of a planet on a funeral pyre burned. Fossil fuels drive the temperature higher, melt the ice caps, dry the glaciers, habitat destruction, species erasure, driven by the insatiable greed of a culture without vegetables. Meat for every meal is unsustainable, but that's what Wall Street puts on your table, spinning lies to construct false fables, from the Pentagon Papers to the WikiLeaks cables. After Nixon went down, the lies continued later. Reagan's legacy was creating Al-Qaeda. The CIA trained them. A parade of corruption from Afghanistan to Nicaragua, training rebels from Kabul to Managua, not just to wage rogue foreign policy, but eventually to bring home a calamity. The CIA's crimes against humanity include mass incarceration. Here's the plan, see? Run drugs into LA and Miami. Armed traffickers, spark a war in the streets, kill police, blame it on a crime wave, then jail a generation of slaves. Each era's crimes compound those unresolved. Murder mysteries en masse, unsolved. It's called history. Studying can solve our cycles of oppressions. We need to evolve. Drug war, military police, investing in prisons instead of universities are the predictable fruits of impunity for violence. Abuses of communities from Pacific Islands that will simply cease to be, to hurricanes killing people in Haiti, to collateral damage, dead bodies strewn everywhere. The intel is always shoddy. To 3,000 people dead in NYC, that's what we see of the CIA's legacy of ashes. Imperial fascists. People want security on a plate. Frederick Douglass told us to it straight, just like MLK or Eisenhower, head of state. The hate we see rising is reprising decades of terror. Remember the KKK that the CIA is now spreading everywhere, in every way, from drone strikes killing babies today to wars for new soil, plundering more oil, ensuring that our planet will continue to boil. Foil the plot. It's the only chance we've got. Seize the reins. Our species can maintain only if we overcome institutions and drop our phones. We can do it together. See through the illusions. Each era's crimes compound those unresolved. Murder mysteries en masse, unsolved. It's called our story. We can't be absolved of our cycles of oppressions until we end them all.
Nice. Wow.
Thanks, homie.
Honored
awesome to be with you. That's all I got to say. You know, I'll just shout out a website if anybody wants to follow up with me or check out what I'm up to, or possibly support our 2022 run against Pelosi. You can find me online at shahidforchange.us. I'll drop that link in the chat in a minute. And I do want to just thank you again, Justin, for inviting me and for your work pulling people together at this time.
Heck yeah, that was awesome. Wow. I want to check out a lot more of your music and stuff on SoundCloud and everything else. I did see a little bit of the video that interview that you did with Rolling Stone magazine. That was pretty cool. So people should definitely go check out Shahid. Any questions from before he kind of has to get going? Anybody have anything to throw out there? Alex, hand raised real quick.
Yes. Thank you so much for coming on again. I guess my main question is, because after listening to you speak, I agree with almost everything you say and the passion behind it. But I am curious why you think that in your election in the most liberal city of San Francisco, the 12th congressional district, you only
Yeah.
managed to get 22% of the vote, with 81,000 to Nancy Pelosi's 77%, or 281,000 votes. What is
Yeah.
that disconnect there?
So 81,000 votes in a lot of districts is enough to win the seat. So the biggest dynamic in terms of the numbers is just the mere fact that San Francisco is a very high turnout district. A lot of San Franciscans vote. Many more San Franciscans vote than people in other districts. So that skews the number you have to get. And for a grassroots candidate like me, who doesn't get covered by corporate media, we have to fight for every vote, right? So 81,000 votes, I'm frankly, I was kind of stunned that we got that many. I've been in 3 elections, the 2018 primary, then the 2020 primary, and then the 2022, or the 2020 general. And we went from 17,000 votes to 33,000 votes to 81,000 votes. So that trend line to me is very encouraging. The biggest challenge in this arena, frankly, is media. Nancy Pelosi is a household name. Her name is viral in every news cycle. Nobody knows I exist. I am a random immigrant in San Francisco. I'm a lawyer, MC, DJ who's like challenging power. The fact that I got 81,000 votes, I'm still I'm amazed by, I feel like it's like an immigrant dream. And you're right, I would love for it to be more. 22% is a lot lower than we're going to need to win the seat. But given that we've doubled our results in every election, that puts me solidly on track to win in the next cycle. I think the other challenge, in addition to corporate media and its willingness only to cover incumbents and not challengers, is fundraising. So we actually were phenomenally successful in fundraising. We raised $1.6 million, $1.6 million from over 30,000 contributors in every state across the country. I'm very proud of that. I'm honored by that. And frankly, among challengers to entrenched incumbents, I was the second best funded congressional candidate in the last cycle. And I was still outspent by Nancy Pelosi 15-1. And, she has basically limitless pockets, which means that she can buy advertising, she can pay for mailers across the city.
She spent $15 million. And I had a follow-up question. What is your take of the state party? Because if you were a top 2 vote getter, does that make you ex officio or a delegate to the state party?
Well, so that's a good question. I'm not actually sure.
You should, because the state bylaws do have certain voting rights. I'm not sure if 2 Democrats make it to a general election if the winner is then the delegate, but I do know that primary winners are given ex officio status. But what was your experience with the state party? Because as a state delegate myself, I'm always into incremental change within the Democratic Party, and I give you a lot of applause for staying with the Democratic Party, which I know sometimes is really hard, and you get a lot of pushback from fellow progressives. But I believe in internal change, like Bernie Sanders did. But so she spent $15 million still.
Yeah, well, I'll give you a story about my experience of the party. On the one hand, so Nancy Pelosi is the embodiment of not just the state Democratic Party, but the National Democratic Party. And the party, I was running against the head of the party. And the entire party apparatus, the entire party machine of San Francisco united against me and smeared me relentlessly. All kinds of smears, like racist smears, coming out of the San Francisco Democratic establishment to shut down. And then we still won 80,000 votes. I mean, this is one of the reasons why I'm actually very encouraged by our results in the last cycle. At the same time, at the state Democratic Party convention in, this would have been, I think, May 2020, I suppose.
Long Beach?
No, 2019. Not Long Beach, the one that was in
San Francisco?
Yeah, I think that was 2019.
Oh.
One of the candidates for party chair, I believe, was Mike Katz-LaCobb in the East Bay in Richmond. No, he's in San Leandro, California. And Mike very graciously gave me a minute of his mic time at the podium. And I'll see if I can dig up the link to that. There's a short video of it, which I'll post. But,
this is county chair, right? For the Central Committee chair?
for Alameda County. He might be.
Oh, Alameda County. Okay.
He was running for the state chair position against Rusty was in the mix. There was
yeah, it was also Kimberly Ellis.
Yeah, that election.
Okay, so it was state party chair. Okay, I don't remember his name.
Yeah, so yeah, he's in the East Bay, and so Mike gave me a minute of his mic time, and it was amazing the reception I got. Yeah, I heard it was one of the most bizarre moments as a public speaker I've ever experienced, because it's this vast auditorium. There's a couple thousand people in it. I'm hearing equal parts silence from people gaping, like, how did that guy get the microphone? Thunderous applause from everybody in the Bernie wing, and active booing from everybody in the Harris Pelosi wing. And it was bizarre. It was bananas. I mean, it was one of those moments where, I had a minute at the mic. So it's kind of like be very tight. And so I didn't really, frankly, usually as a public speaker, you can like ride the wave and engage with people. And there wasn't any time for that. But I just remember in the moment, like noting the feedback, and it was just so all over the place. And people, afterward, I just had a steady stream of people coming up to me. And this has been true ever since. I literally can't leave my house in San Francisco without somebody shouting me out, being like, thank you so much for running. And we who see the opportunity for a brighter day that does not involve corporations steering humanity off a cliff, we are everywhere. And except, unfortunately, Congress. And we have a toehold right in the squad, and we need to expand that doorway and make that voice the majority. And that's going to happen one way or another. We either will do it, or we're going to drive ourselves off a climate cliff. It's that simple.
Well, yeah, because also in the state party apparatus, it's really hard to even, those who do get the endorsement, like you have Kevin DeLeon, who got the state party endorsement. What good did it do him when you had Dianne Feinstein and you talked about this big money push, right? She still got most of the money and she ended up winning the election. It was the top two. Also, I feel that there's just a lot of things that need to happen, because our party doesn't have a way of reflecting power when it can't control the money. And it seems the money is what it drives the power, because you have the will. Like you said, you heard thunderous applause. Like I just listened to you give a poem and a song, and I agree with almost all of it, but it's not transcending into votes. It's not transcending into success. And I've been in Delhi.
That's all about media. I win any crowd I get in front.
Well, then that's another place we need to start too. But I guess I don't know. It just makes me think a lot about what we need to change and how we do change it. And you mentioned the squad and Bernie Sanders. Well, I think it's time we start. What do you call that? When you go all in, like, no, we're going to do this, or, you do the ultimatums and you do them where they feel it and they sense it and they believe it. And then because you talked about fascism, and I feel like we're facing fascism, you said, in many aspects in our country anyways, but I feel now it's just lifted its ugly head and it doesn't even care. And we're not organized yet. And we live in Tulare County, which we have Devin Nunes in Congress. Mm-hmm. And we have a lot of apathy when it comes to voter turnout. So trying to figure out how we face this new threat really is going to be a big focus of our local activists here in Tulare County.
Right on, Brad. And the fact that you're doing that work, brother, in Tulare County on the ground in Devin Nunes' district is huge. And when you talk about like how do we get from here to there, what you're doing right now, like with the pandemic weren't happening, in-person gatherings, I think are really, really meaningful and important, given that there's a pandemic. The fact that you're doing it virtually is, a good alternative. But I was talking to a supporter the other day, right? And they were talking to me about the message and their impressions of, what in the socialist message we have to shift and whatnot. And my response to them basically was, the message from defund the police to abolish ICE to universal healthcare to the Green New Deal to $25 minimum wage to a pathway to citizenship. The message is tight. We know the message. And we win any crowd we get in front of. The challenge precisely, and you said it yourself, most people are apathetic. Or another way to put it is most people are frankly overwhelmed, right? I mean, folks got 3 jobs. You're trying to keep your family together. Maybe you got a kid who would be in school, but they're home because of the pandemic. How are you supposed to engage in politics, right? I mean, there's people getting paid money for this. Why can't they just figure it out? Do we really need all to pay attention? And unfortunately, yes, we do need to all pay attention, because the people making money are putting it in their pockets, right? And instead of channeling that back to the American people. And the challenge, I think, precisely is that we have to make politics available, accessible, and attractive to everyone. And that's why gatherings that combine culture and politics, where, we're talking about issues, but there's some music in it, there's some poetry in it, there's some flex in the joints. This doesn't have to be the thing that leaves everybody like grinding your teeth. You know what I mean? Like that fusion of modes and methods is profound. And I sometimes say that the antidotes to despair in a dark age include community and action. And the beauty of gatherings like this are that they remix both. You get community in action. And when the community is in action and there's any kind of motivating principle animating it, it's regenerative. It's almost as if the results don't even matter. It will attract its own energy and it will beget more. And that's a change engine. Every time, and everybody's experienced this, even in, think about the smaller the action, the more profound often. Like for me, one example that comes to mind, I remember this would have been summer 2019, before the pandemic, marching in a picket line with Unite Here. These are hotel and hospitality workers on strike from a series of contractors that catered meals at tech companies, including Facebook. And we're marching. There's a young man who supported our campaign. He's a technologist, white man, military veteran, says to me, "Wow, this is really exciting. I've never been in a picket line before." And and he was really fired up, his energy, his drumming. And I just stopped and I'm like, "Dude, you just made my day." And like, anytime any of us can bring one, each one teach one, just bring one person along, finding new ways to express ourselves and express our convictions, whether that's, the neighborhood soup club, which, just to be clear, is a profound act of organizing, right? Providing resources for each other at the community level, community gardens, that kind of level is really, really big. Everything from that to advocacy campaigns. Maybe I'll just throw at you like one. In fact, I think I might have been talking to Justin about this the other night. One really easy way that a community can make its voice heard on an issue. And when I say community, I mean like you and 3 of your friends, any one of you and any 3 of your friends, is you just write a letter, not just to Devin Nunes, who probably will throw it in the trash, but write it to every member of your city council, particularly the one who represents the area that you live in. And if you take your letter and you shop it to your neighbors and you get even 3 or 4 of them to sign it with you, people who share the same representative on a city council, or maybe the county board, or maybe your state assembly person or your state senator, if you just get a handful of people to sign the thing with you and you ask for a meeting, you're going to get one. Because whoever gets that letter is going to look at you and they're going to be like, either I can co-opt this group of people and they're going to support me, or I'm going to alienate them if I don't. And, the one thing that motivates policymakers is coming back. Re-election is the one thing that motivates them. And so when you approach them as an individual, nobody frankly cares. You'll get a form letter. But when you approach them as a group, an organized group, and you can do that as simple as just signing a letter together, it will create opportunities. And, that's like a 1.0 tactic. It opens a door. It doesn't ensure anything more. Access doesn't equal influence, yada, yada. We could go on. But like, that's just an easy act of civic practice that anybody can engage. And I'd invite each of you to consider that as just like, a step on a road.
Sweet. Wow, that's a lot of good information. I'm glad that we're documenting all of this and whatnot, so people can kind of rewatch it, let it sink in, and figure out what to do from here. Yeah, we're gonna try to do a lot more of these kinds of things. Try to incorporate the culture with the politics, and I think that's a good start. And we'll figure it out. Anybody have any other questions for Shahid before we get to some musical guests, artists from the Bay Area, actually in San Francisco
nice.
right now?
Okay.
Matt, do you want to say something? I know you're really into politics over there, and I believe you're involved with some of the Democratic Socialists over there. Matt Hash, do you have anything to say? Unmute if you do. I can't hear you.
Hey, Justin, I don't know if you can hear me through the mic, backup mic's turned down. Hey, Shahid, I just want to say real quick, I voted for you, and this first song is for you, buddy.
Thanks, homie. Good looking out. I can't wait to hear it.
Thanks for having us here, Justin. Tonight, we're known as Jesus and Two Sparkies.
Yeah, he's a Central Valley friend of mine, Matt, is, and then but now he moved to the Bay Area, not too long ago.
Yeah. Go for it.
See the Constitution burn. Wanna watch the White House overturn. Wanna witness some blue blood bleed red. My darling said, "Cause that's the point, keep you in my way." Yeah, yeah, yeah. Murder the government, murder the government, murder the government, amen. Murder the government. Murder the government. We waited way too long. We're free. I'm not crazy. Well, that's not true. I've got a brain. It's up. Bunnies are who's fishes on my floor. But I got a book. So what? So what? What? I got pockets full of emotion for everything. But excuse me, just before I got my legs the floor. This friend with no leader, no leader. Support my head, give me something to believe. On the beachside, cones and sands, metal meter in my hands, supporting the pocket full of shit. That's music, the violin under my skin, singing with the blim, singing CPA. On the back of the bus, that's me in the field. Inside your head, that's me inside your head. That's me inside.
Yeah. Lead vocals could go up a tiny bit, but we got the picture of it.
San Francisco band.
Hey, man. So we waited so long. Can we do another one?
Well, we actually have Excavamon has to leave right now, so they were gonna do a tune. If that's okay, check your text. I just texted you. You need to turn your lead vocalist mic up and maybe the guitar tiny bit down. But Excavamon, are you there? Excavamon, and so yeah,
Yeah, we're here.
Shahid, those are the guys. Shahid, real quick, I'm hopefully trying to get you in contact with the Bay Area guys right there to hopefully help you out with some either phone banking or whatever, texting people and stuff. So feel free to, if you have to take off, don't feel obligated to stay. But I really appreciate you coming. Does anybody have any other questions for Shahid, real quick? But if he has to, I don't know if he has to go or not. But yeah,
I do. There's a meeting about to start with the Bernie Kratz. I got to go for that, but I'm so glad to join you. And props to the bands, especially Matt and y'all. Thanks for the vote. Hope to connect with you soon. And yeah, keep it funky.
Thank you for being here.
Let's connect.
I'll stay.
Peace, everybody.
All right, take care. Looks like we have our first troll of the evening, and unless are you a troll, August, or no?
No, just here to jam.
All right, I'm gonna have to remove you because that was kind of weird. But come back, watch the live stream, Facebook. So yeah. Anyway, I feel bad if he really wasn't a troll, but it kind of scared me. All right, X, come on, do a tune real quick.
We're gonna do
that was really.
Huh?
Oh no, yeah. What were you gonna say?
Oh, we're just gonna do another sound check just real quick. We have to plug it back in.
All right. Yeah, it should be good.
All right.
But yeah, make sure you check everything because I think when you unplug that sometimes it messes everything up. But you guys sounded really good the first time. Hash's band in San Francisco, they needed to check some of their levels and whatnot. But yeah, Hashid, that was a treat to have Hashid. And Alex, thank you for chiming in and speaking with them and getting those conversations going. That was pretty cool.
It was just amazing. I mean, I felt very lucky to have him here, and he said everything that I needed to hear, and he made me feel that we are on the right track. We do need to organize. It's kind of what we've been talking about, Justin. We need something here to be an organized fighting force together. We need to organize our collective energies. So anyways, happy to do it.
Yeah. Oh shoot, that was really unexpected. I mean, like he said that he would come, and so I mean, I'm glad that he actually stuck to his word. So, but I really, he does have meetings all the time going to, and so like he really is busy, and he like gets interviewed for Rolling Stone magazine videos and stuff like that. You can see him all over the internet, and so he's busy person, and so I wasn't expecting him to actually pop in. So when he came in, I was like real shocked, like whoa, this is actually happening right now. But you being in politics, I've seen your Facebook, Alex. You taking pictures with Bernie, taking pictures with everybody that I've ever seen on TV. So it's like you're not, you don't get shocked.
It's one of the perks of being a Democrat delegate. That's why people need to get involved. Ashley, if you're in Kings County, you can get involved in your central committee. I mean, it just takes people to get active. We have to change it and take it over.
What was that comment? We'll talk about it later. All right, you take it away, X. Come on. Yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we had a few technical issues, but it was pretty okay.
No, that was kind of cool. Got me up dancing and whatnot, jumping around.
I thought
Kind of out of breath now. So yeah, that was really cool. Yeah, it came through really clean. Sorry we didn't get you to have a ton of tunes to do another bunch of tunes, but we'll have to stay in contact and have you on again sometime when we do this again. But anybody have any questions or feedback for Excvamon? Matt, do you have anything to say over there in San Francisco? Do you like him? Did you like the band?
Those kids kick ass, dude. That kid is a shredder, and his drummer is just as good.
Thank you.
So yeah, you guys are awesome. Definitely let's stay in contact. Matt and I, we went to high school at El Diamante, and now you guys are going to school there. So and you're a lot better than we were when we were playing. So yeah.
Thank you. I'm sure y'all's are good too. Don't worry.
No, yeah,
it's good to know that there's some kids at that school that care about what's going on, dude. Those of us who have moved away that are alma maters of that place are so proud of you guys, and we've been waiting for a platform to appear where we can tell you that, dude. You guys are kicking ass, and we're hella proud of you. Keep doing it.
Yeah, we will, no doubt. But
awesome. All right. Let's see, Alex. Are you? I know you're. Are you? Oh, you're still there. Okay. You don't have to stay the whole time, also, Alex. So you can do whatever you can. And you're a busy man as well. Like you got a lot of things going on.
Yeah. No, I was definitely waiting. I was listening to the music and talking. A lot of people in and out.
Okay.
My turn.
What was that? I said. Yeah. What was that comment down here? I see. Lol. He did say that. I had no idea he could be a troll.
Oh, I was responding to Ashley, who said what that guy said, which was he was here to jam.
Yeah, and then you just kicked him out. He said, "I'm here to jam," and I understood that. But you kicked him out.
And all I said,
I don't know.
I had no idea we could have trolls on here. I didn't know that was a thing. Like if that's happened before.
Oh yeah, it's very easy. It's very easy. And then he started asking for people's phone numbers too. He's like, "Can I get some of all your phone numbers?" Like I think.
I put my email, but
you give him email.
Well, I didn't know.
I give him my email because I didn't know.
I thought it was someone legit.
Yeah, you gotta be careful. I thought he may have been legit. We don't know, but like, yeah, he said, "Can I get your guys' phone numbers?" So like, I said maybe email is best, and I gave my email. So I mean, if he emails me, I don't know, it's fine. But and then you gave him your email. Also, I'm glad you didn't. You asked for his number, and then he left.
Yeah.
Shoot. Yeah. Anyway, take it away, Alex. Before and then feel free to take off if you have to and whatnot. But thank you all for sticking around. Olivia, I don't know what Olivia that is. Cindy, I think I know you came earlier. And Ian, you all stuck around. Brandy, Nurse Vegas. Thank you all for being here. And Hash, that was actually a cool song. And I'm still in shock from Shahid, but yeah, Alex, you take it away, and then even Ashley Neely also, if you wanted to also after that to promote any projects or speak on anything, you're more than welcome. We're still live, by the way. So yes. Alex Gutierrez.
All right, thank you so much, Justin, for having me on with everybody. As you heard a little bit there with my conversation with the very awesome guest speaker, Shahid Butler, Shahid, excuse me.
I think it's Shahid Buttar.
Buttar. We'll get these names down. I consider myself an activist because it's all encompassing, but I am a political activist and I am a member of the Democratic Party. And by that, I mean, I'm not just registered with the Democratic Party and I vote for Democrats. What that means is I am a party member. I'm a delegate to the state party convention. I'm a county delegate. I am elected to the Tulare County Democratic Central Committee, and it's an apparatus. It's like a whole system, and I'm here to talk about it a little bit. So the fact that you heard that the National Party exists, Democratic National Convention, acronyms DNC. You have 50 states. Each state has their state central committees or state parties, and then it goes to the county level. And county delegates can be delegates to the state party, and there's ADEM elections going on right now. That's acronym too for Assembly District Delegates. And then of course, our elected officials and party leaders are also delegates. And that leads me to the clubs. Clubs are beneath county level, and they focus more on cities and special interests. We do have an LGBT group in Tulare County called the Stonewall Democrats. We have Danuba Democratic Club, Visalia Democratic Club, Porterville, and then Tulare. I am the newly elected / selected president for the Tulare Democratic Club. And like I mentioned a little bit earlier, we're focused on organizing the city of Tulare's Democrats to organize into a collective energy force to make sure we can start organizing now for the upcoming elections, which was spoken on by Dr. Lucia Vasquez with redistricting. Redistricting is very important. Of course, politics in general sometimes can appear boring to people because of all the details and facts and laws and rules and this and that, but redistricting is one of those that you should pay attention to because it does allocate populations to certain areas and who gets to vote in those areas that make up a governing board. And every municipality and special district and county board of supervisors is all going to go through that process of selecting their own map. And there's an independent commission in our great state of California, which will take care of state senate districts, U.S. congressional districts, and the assembly districts that will be withdrawn, and we're going to have a whole new map. So as president of the Tulare Democratic Club, I have, with the executive board and our club members, we've all taken the initiative to get things going. We did have the mayor of Tulare as our guest speaker last month. We're going to have Phil Arbayo as our speaker this Friday. He ran for Congress in 2020. He did not win against Devin Nunes, but he decided to throw his hat in the ring again. And we're going to have him as our guest speaker so he can explain to us what he learned, because we're all trial and error. You heard Shahid there talk about how he incrementally get better with the votes from 2016, 2018 to 2020. He made it to the top two. He made it to the general election. That's pretty big. It is pretty big. And it's all about turnout. And so we hope to hear from Phil Arbayo on what he sees as a winning strategy and how we can help him do that. And I've also been talking to Justin here. He has a tremendous ability of being able to bring culture, music, poems, and connect it also with a political message, which I think is, it's a phenomenal skill. I give him a lot of kudos for what he does on being able to bring people out and talk. It's something is sorely missing in our county. We all try to do our best. We're all good at what we do in certain things, but we all need each other to do the kind of change we all seek. And especially in our county. Our county is very rural. Our whole area is very spaced apart. Shahid did talk about what I always talk about too, which is the fact that people are not only apathetic, but also overwhelmed. A lot of people in our area work 2 jobs, 3 jobs. They want to go home. They want to relax. They want to watch TV. I don't blame them. The last thing they want to worry about is their school board elections, their city council members, their hospital board decisions. And the sad part is for them is they have to start waking up. The world has caught up to them. The fiscal impacts going on with our governing agencies is alarming. We have an educational system that's disconnecting our youth from reality in many senses of what's important, the environment, their health, connecting them with history. We talked about Allensworth earlier, but the tribes, just so much history, so much detail that's not being conveyed to them. And to do that, we have to start by electing people that care, that think like us, that believe a lot in things that we do. And we have to encourage good people to run. And it may seem like a monumental task at first, and believe me, it will. But once you decide to go for it and you just focus a little bit, you can do it. And if you have good intentions and good motives, and we are all striving for the same goal, even if you don't win, the impact is felt. And the inspiration and the hope is also planted in many others to keep going. And that's how you build success. I see this new decade we're entering as a very alarming one. Martin Luther King, which is how I met Justin, was at his Martin Luther King celebration, which was awesome. But it was also very
and Ashley, it was mine and Ashley Neely's.
Yeah, sorry, yes. Well, yeah, sorry. Black Lives Matter Hanford was there. It was a co-event, and you guys did a great job. And it took us back to our roots, at least activist roots, and hearing everybody's stories. And there was a gentleman who read from a book, and it made me feel connected. I'm not alone. There's people who care, and it inspired me more than ever to keep doing something that we are. If you're working to do something better, it's well time invested, and it just struck a chord with me, that Martin Luther King celebration, because that's the kind of energy we need to bring to this with his decade that he went through, and the decade we're about to enter is a culmination of the last 50 years. And we need to be ready for it. We need to educate our young Black, brown, white brothers and sisters, and making sure that we're all prepared to care for one another, to know what we need, how to get what we need, and not be caught off guard, and not to be complacent and comfortable. We get complacent and comfortable with our homes and our video games and your TVs and stuff, and the world around you is just churning. And like I have to say, you don't want to get caught with your hands inside your pants. Okay, you want to know who to go to. You want to know who to believe in. You don't want to be manipulated by the strong man or strong woman who just fills you with big lies or mistruths and non-factual stuff, and you go down a crazy rabbit hole. You want to be sure you trust your those around you, and you have a relationship with them, and that's really what it's all about. And I'm just really excited to be one part of this big movement that we're trying to build here locally for ourselves. And so this Friday I'm going to be having Phil Arbayo on. We have a great city, club, and county central committee, and we are just working on helping elect good people. Justin?
Thank you so much for speaking. Yeah, I mean, anyone want to chime in, ask any questions to Alex right now? Feel free to do that.
I just wanted to add, not really a question, but I would say that people are not apathetic, but more oppressed and suppressed in our area. If you look at the voting turnout in our area and what people are posting on Facebook, just from my experience in Kings County, my short experience of organizing over here, I would say that I always thought that people are apathetic or they didn't care. But when I did organize my first protest, over 500 people showed up, which shows that people do care about these issues. They're just afraid to speak up about it or to look into it. It might be overwhelming too. And during the election season, there was this meme going around of a lot of people from like Hanford, people of color, that showed like a picture of, it says the hood when you vote and the hood when you don't vote. And it was the same exact house. Just showing that nothing changes if you vote. They think that if you vote, nothing's going to change. So there's a misunderstanding on that. And like from the math that I did, like I looked at the results from Kings County itself, and only 613 ballots were sent to Black people in our community. Only 613 were actually mailed out to them. And there's over 9,000 people here. If you take about 75%, that's like over 7,000 people who are possibly eligible to vote that weren't even registered to vote. So basically only like 8% were registered to vote. And that's just because people haven't reached out to those areas or talking to these people and getting them interested or letting them know that they care. Like I'm under the impression with our communities being mostly people between like 35, around 30 is the average age, at least in Kings County. And being people of color here, like 55% is Latino here. That we're not, and then the rest are like people of color. We're not a conservative area. We've had conservative people in power that did everything to suppress and oppress people's voices here. So once we do start doing things like this and protesting, being out and letting people know that people care here, because I still get people who used to live in our community that they're excited that we did something, that we're doing stuff here. And it's exciting that you guys are doing stuff over there. And that's what they need. And we need meetings like this and to figure out ways to keep people excited about this and being interested, because, and like you said, elect people who are younger, people of color that look like this, because if you look at our board of supervisors or city council, they don't look like the people here. Not truly. And that's because they're not reaching out. So I think like the better word is being oppressed and suppressed, which makes people feel apathetic. It's the tools of like people in power and white supremacy to keep people of color from engaging in politics and making things change here. So that's like all I wanted to add on that part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would add to what you're saying is true. There was a good voter turnout, and that also gave me encouragement too. That's only the turnout of those who are registered to vote, which is not always representative of a whole demographical area. You know, as an example, Tulare County, let's just say, has 550,000 people. Well, only 168,000 are registered to vote. Okay, even if you remove the people under the age of 18, and you have a large population there that's not speaking up for themselves. We have a lot of undocumented people who are unable, who were here, you know, 20, 30, 40 years, who don't have a voice. And then there's also, like you were talking about too, you know, oppressive natures, either with people not receiving ballots or being removed from the voting rolls, from inactivity. I'm not really sure how pervasive that is, but we do need to get out. It hasn't been done. This whole area is raw for that kind of organizing, because the neighborhoods haven't been touched in an effective, direct manner where they're registered to vote, like Stacey Abrams was able to do in Georgia, and give them a message that they could believe in and see the results of their labor, a Biden victory, and then winning the Senate. That's going to have effects in that state for a very long time, but there's also a counter to that too, right? When you have laws passed to stop that from continuing to grow organically too, and we need to always be vigilant about that for sure. And yeah, our area is not represented at all from the people that actually live here, and a lot of people are, you know, Shahid talked about media. Our media here is not very good at localized investigative news. It's almost actually not existent. I know the Hanford Sentinel, we have the Visalia Times Delta, and you have these like community newspapers and stuff. They're not very well funded. And the bigger localized media too, like they pick and choose what to talk about. They love, you know, the car theft, the murder or stuff like that. But why aren't they talking about white collar crime? Why aren't they talking about, you know, everything going on in the actual municipalities and the school boards in a very detailed manner? And this is all the things that the people have to bring to them. The people have to make them talk about this. And Shahid gave us the example of getting a group together and signing onto a letter and stuff. Although you have to do more than a letter. I mean, sometimes you have to show up in force too, make them feel your presence. But it's just, like I said, us meeting like this, exactly, Ashley, it adds to the flavor and educating ourselves on how to do that, because time's running out. We just have to begin now, because even our water quality, which is a basic human right, water from the faucet's not even drinkable at good health levels, and that's just absurd.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, anybody in the audience, we now have Yvette here, Olivia or Cindy. Anyone want to voice any of your concerns with anything before we get to some more music? Like any issues that you want to talk about? And looks like Cindy just left. When you put people on the spot, it's like, no, I know they have issues. Everyone has issues that they want to address, whether it's like homeless or like you're saying water quality. There's a lot of issues like school issues and whatnot, news. Yvette, anything? Olivia, I know Olivia doesn't live here, but anymore. She's from here and she's probably might move back. I'm trying to convince her not to, but at the same time, she has her jobs over here. But and whatnot.
Don't
Yvette,
convince
welcome.
people who think like us to not move back.
I know. Please come back. Please come back.
I get it, Justin. You hate me. I've come to accept it. It's okay.
And that's like a thing that we all do, right? Like people who have progressive thoughts here have thought or have left here because it's easier to move and feel welcomed in different spaces that are already created than actually create those safe spaces and here. And that's like, I did that. I've lived in LA, I lived in the Bay Area, I go to school, UC Santa Cruz. Like before recently that I know that there are people here that do want things to change. So don't discourage people who want to move back because we are making it better and they can help.
I know. No, and she does. She's helped with Lisa Alvarado's.
Thank you, Ashley. I appreciate that at least you want me back in the area.
Yeah, I
do.
No,
that's definitely something I agree with you on. The idea of like leaving. Not everybody can just leave and go to a more progressive space like that. It's not. Not everybody has that ability to just get out of a place where they feel uncomfortable or unwelcome. So it is our job to make spaces for people, to make people in our community feel welcome and like their voice matters.
Yes.
Definitely. All right. You're welcome back. You're welcome to come back. That has nothing to say. Matt Hash and all your friends over there in the Bay Area, you ready to rock out or anything? He looks like he's rocking out already. Like they can't hear me. He can't hear me. But Matt.
Ashley is right, and Olivia too. Like we can flee easily, but we have to create it's not even about creating. It's already here. It's just that no one's standing up for themselves. No one's actually saying enough. Like. We have a board of supervisors in Tulare County who voted against early on in the pandemic when nothing was really known about the virus, voted to say, no, we're not going to follow any sort of guidances or rules. They made fun of masks. They would post with impunity, anti-science, anti-facts. And where's the accountability, you guys? Where's the outrage of the public? And it's just enough. Enough is enough. And if we don't win this cycle, we're going to keep on going. We're going to make sure we're going to make sure that they're doing their job. We're going to make sure that they don't take their job for granted either.
Or we'll recall them, or we will recall them.
Exactly. Recall them and run against them again and again and show up and make sure that they either regret being in the job or they start listening and becoming helpful to all people, because they can come up with they always come up with excuses when they don't want to pay up for something. But when they want to do their stuff, it's just like, oh, they can find the money like nothing. Oh yeah, like it's just anyway. So yeah, feel that. I've always wanted to leave, and I'm always like, they'll win, and they keep winning, and that's not.
Well, let's stay and make some differences. And what try to do what we can and make a little bit of change while we can while we're here. Matt Hash, say something if you can hear me.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for giving us time to go again.
Yeah. Stoked to hear you. Hopefully you got everything squared away. But yeah, everyone, thank you so much for being here. Don't feel obligated to stay. I know it's kind of getting late. But yeah, everything. I'm excited for the future. Excited for Alex's meeting on Friday. We get to talk to Phil Arbayo, and I get to think of something to say to him. And I probably won't. I'll get too shy. I get starstruck. Like I got starstruck with Shahid. I got.
Can you hear us,
So
Justin?
Yes. Yes.
Cool. All right.
No. Keep going about Shahid.
All right, let's go. Oh yeah, it's me, huh?
Reconcile to the belief something sacred ground for me. Wasn't knowing but no one's knowing the name to belong, yeah. All these friends and all these people, all these bands and these secrets, but what you gonna do? Everybody goes on without to the end. Journey to the end, to the end. Journey to the end. Maybe 7, maybe 9. Got a garage door in there. It's just a 4 of us. Fuck it, I'm sure. 2,000 miles. Couldn't go no far. Not know what was going on yet. Not a million years. Journey to the end. Journey to came from far away, from New Orleans in the East Bay. You said this was our Mecca Man. I said this ain't no Mecca Man. Please fuck! 4 months go by. He had no hope, he had no booze, he's all alone. Now you said for me once, shame on you. For me twice, he went back to New Orleans. Yeah, now journey to the end. Our journey to the end, to the end, our journey to the end.
John Denver, Green Day.
Well, I heard you crying love all the way across town, searching for that someone to me out on the fire. As you sit around feeling sorry for yourself. Well, don't get lonely now. Enjoy your wine and ice. Searching for that someone and it's me out on the prize. As you sit around feeling sorry for yourself. It's the world. Cause you know where I'll be found when I come around. heard it all before. So don't knock on my door. I'm a loser, a drug user, so I don't need no accuser to try to drag me down because I know you're right. So go do what you like. Make sure you do it once. And find out that your self-doubt is more than that's ever there. You can't go forcing something. No time to search the world, cause no one found when I come around. Cause nowhere I'll be found when I come around.
That was a block of San Francisco bands.
Thank you, Matt.
You got time for us to do one more?
Thank you, Matt.
Oh,
I hear a weird. There's a delay.
There's a delay.
I'm hearing my
Yeah,
voice.
There's a little delay. I got to get that worked out.
I'm hearing my voice in your room.
Yeah,
in San
that's because I got the
Francisco.
monitors turned up. Yeah, you're live in San Francisco, buddy.
Ah!
Hey,
All right, go ahead.
One
I
more,
guess
or do we need to go around the circle again?
Ashley said gave the thumbs up to do one more. I guess. She's digging you more than I'm digging you guys. I think maybe. JK. Who's walking away? Is there a band member that just walked away from your room or what?
Just a girlfriend.
That's a girlfriend, yeah.
Just a girlfriend. I wouldn't use those words.
Not just a girlfriend, but
Okay.
Well, there's
a
songs
girlfriend
about
that's nice.
stuff like that.
I think the girlfriend needs to be in the band as well.
Yeah.
Okay, Alex has to go. Thank you, Alex.
Thank you, Matt. Really good seeing you again, Ashley.
She knows it.
You know that?
She knows it.
Oh my God.
All right, Matt. All right, Alex. Oh,
Say hi.
All right. This is the least practice one that we do. So
they can't hear you, Alex, but I appreciate you. I'll text you, Alex.
All right. Yes. Bye.
Hey, tell him Lori Myers.
What do we do? Are we doing Lauren Myers?
Let's do it. Mercedes is singing the
Well,
part.
she's peeing right now.
Well, she'll come out. She'll be like,
All right.
hey, let's do Country Roads until she comes back.
all right.
Country Roads.
This is a nice John Denver tune for you, Justin.
Let's go. Oh, you got the lyrics?
Yep.
Oh gosh.
Goes out to the godfather of country music.
That microphone is real weird. It's like real muffled. It's like, can't hear anything. You can't hear anything, Matt. What'd they do?
Going like a dream. Country road. Take me home to the place I'm lost. West Virginia. Mountain Mama. Take me home. Take me home. Gather around her. Miner's lady. Strangers to the water. Darkest classes painted on the sky. Make me taste the moonshine. Teardrops in my eyes. Country road. Take me home to the place. Yesterday, country road, take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, now mama, take me home. Country road, take me home. Country road, take me home. Down country road. Woo!
It got kind of muffled. Like something. I think someone tripped over a wire, or but it did. It did. It's coming out not as clean. Like for there's parts of it. We understood parts of the song, but then there was like one portion where it was all.
Man,
That's our drummer trying to take over a mic. That's what that is.
Yeah, back me up like crazy.
I can hear you clean now. Like everything sounds clean now, but for a second there was weird. It was like.
Yeah.
Hey, Sadie.
But
You know,
Come sing Lori Myers right here. Lori Myers. She'll get it.
who the hell are you to tell me how to live? Come on, you know that song.
Olivia, are you gonna play for us? What?
You'll know it when you hear it. Just come sing it.
I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Olivia, I can't hear you. You're typing? You're typing. Okay. Was not planning on it. Okay. Oh, dang. We just got ghosted by them. I think they got offended by us because we weren't really paying 100% attention to them. Because I was talking to Olivia and then, I don't know. Ashley, what do you think? Did they ghost us? Or what happened there?
I don't know.
They
Maybe they're
trolled
trying to
us.
fix the sound and accidentally exited out. I'll
They
give
trolled us.
everybody the benefit of doubt.
Do you want to talk real quick about, what you got, any projects you want to plug or anything for anyone out there that's listening? Looks like we don't have too much of the community. It's mainly just because Yvette, you know Yvette, and then Olivia, I know Olivia, so it's
I
not
don't
like.
know Yvette.
Oh.
I'm just kidding.
Don't scare me.
Let's see. I'm trying to think. Right now, I don't think we have King Safe Space. I know they're planning something in March soon. I'm not sure if they picked a date yet for any kind of events yet. And I guess like we
For
should
Black
be
History Month,
having
don't you have you're doing some stuff for
yeah.
Black History Month?
Oh, right. We're doing a lot of posts and educating on like local, on either like local Black historical sites and like people now who are part of like the art community, music, or anyone who's doing any kind of work here. Just kind of like throwing out a lot of posts about that. We are in the mix of planning, I believe, with the NAACP. Actually, we be planning 2 events. There still is not a go yet, so like I don't want to really talk about them much if we haven't set the plan date, but there might be 2 different events coming up soon.
Sweet. Yvette, did you have anything you wanted to share? I know you said something about what? Yvette said something. You said I have. Okay.
Didn't prepare anything.
I mean, I did say I didn't prepare anything, but
Oh, yeah.
you brought that up. I just wanted to plug real quick that through BLM Hanford, we do have different groups that do research. The one I'm actually a leader of is our immigrant rights group. We would basically just be doing research on different the immigrant justice situation in our local communities. Really, we're focusing on Kings County, just because that's what is local to us, and that is something that I'm really passionate about. And actually, I do have a bone to pick with our law enforcement here because of how the Kings County Sheriff's voted against having our area, our town be a what is it called? sanctuary city. And that really pisses me off, given that our city, our county, also Tulare County, runs off the backs of immigrant labor, both legal and undocumented. So I just thought that was a really shitty thing. And I really want to cover one of the greatest misconceptions, which is that undocumented immigrants do not pay taxes, when in fact they do. And one of the main reasons that our law enforcement in this area stated that they were opposing the sanctuary city is because they would be at risk of losing federal grant money. But if you take a look at how much immigrant labor or our immigrant taxes bring into Kings County alone, it far surpasses the amount of federal grant money that they get here. I mean, that's just one of the areas that I'm really like passionate about, and I really want to bring to light and inform people of. But really, I also want to plan different events that have to do with immigrant rights, immigrant justice, especially the situation with how aggressive ICE has been. We do have an ICE office in Fresno. And even though President Biden has signed an executive order basically telling ICE to stop detaining people and to stop just basically what they're doing, they have continued to do it, and they are not listening to that order. So hopefully here soon we can plan things like banner drops off our highways, other virtual events, and when this COVID situation just settles down or more people get vaccinated, we can actually have in-person rallies or protests, because it's and we have no representation here either, which is something that Ashley and I'm sure everyone has talked about. I know I joined late, but one of the most underrepresented populations is the immigrant community, because nobody has been their voice. So hopefully we can serve as that voice. So if anybody is interested in joining us and working in any of our groups, but also if you're passionate about immigrant justice, you can go ahead and comment or send us an email, contact us on social media, so we can get to work on that.
Awesome.
Justin, do you think that, I know that people are posting these in the Zoom chat, contact information, Instagram, Facebook accounts. Could you possibly put those on like Facebook and Instagram where the video is live for anybody that's not part of the Zoom?
That's a good point.
That would be great if you could share people's information, contact information for like the Black Lives Matter Hanford and everything that people have talked about tonight. That would be great.
Yeah, I'll put them in the comments. I'll start going through right now. That was a good point. Yeah, I've been kind of starstruck and just trying to absorb and didn't really post any comments and whatnot. So I'm going to post Octavio's. That was really cool at the beginning. That was really interesting. And Ashley, thank you for chiming in with him and starting that discussion, starting the whole kind of thing off and whatnot. And yeah, thank you, Yvette, and can you hear me? But and Yvette and Ashley for all you do, and even you, Olivia, being all the way over there in Morro Bay, you still come to the valley sometimes, and you still ask like people like Lisa Alvarado like how you can help, and that's awesome, like because they're always doing good stuff like with trying to get people's voices heard with either with signs that were torn down and getting them up again, and just awareness for all their the hard work and stuff that they're doing. But shoot, I guess Hash is gone. And whatnot, but Olivia, are you thinking about playing at all, or?
I had not planned to do that.
No beatboxing or no surprise like secret talents you want to share and hidden talents. This could be a hidden talent kind of time because we don't really.
No, thank you.
Ashley, you want to play any piano? I know, don't you say you have? You don't have a piano right now. You're saving up for one, or?
It's it's a keyboard in the garage. My xylophone's in the next room, but I'm not going to bring it out because the only thing I remember how to play are like warm ups. So I'm not going to play a warm up for you guys.
All right. That makes sense. Yvette, any hidden talents you want to share with us? Any secret talents? I know you have something.
Well, I am your local Squidward. I can play the clarinet, but I'm not gonna do that.
Why? Why not? Just honk it a little few times. I have mine and I'm no good at it. Like I really need work. I need to look at like finger chart, whatever you call it, and learn the notes and learn songs and stuff. But I just make noise on it. So why don't you can make noise on it like right now if you feel
No,
like.
I don't have any reeds or anything on me. I
Oh.
haven't played in such a long time. I was just joking around. I do have something else I can plug in though.
Yes.
For whoever is watching right now, I also do have a column in the Hanford Sentinel called Stories de Colores. And the purpose of that column, I started that column so that we could share stories from Black, Indigenous people of color in our communities, to share their stories, just to amplify their voices. Anything you want to share, if you've had, you know, I want to share people's what people complaints they have with racism, any subjects. I want to share LGBTQ plus stories. I want to share people's wins also. Like if you're a person of color and you want to share your story of like how you became successful and you want to share that wealth with other people, I'm more than open to having you share your story, whatever that may be. I just want to amplify your voice. You can send me an email and I'll plug that email into the chat here and post it on the comments on Facebook for people to contact me if they are interested in doing that.
Sweet. And then I was kind of, wasn't I talking to you on Instagram about one of your employers has a project? Wasn't it like was that somebody else?
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Yeah. So I am employed by Impact Teen Drivers, and right now we have a contest open for students 14 to 22 years of age. It's called the Create Real Impact Contest. It's a really good opportunity for folks in that age group to win their share of $27,000. Very simple. All you have to do is submit your creative strategies to ending reckless and distracted driving, which is the #1 killer of young people in the United States. The categories they can enter in are creative writing, graphic design, music, video, and then there's also a Spanish category. So if you speak Spanish and you want to enter in Spanish, you can enter in video and graphic design. I do encourage local folks, whoever's listening to this, to enter. It's open to everyone in the United States. I do encourage local folks to enter. That extra money can be used really for whatever you want. And we always choose winners. We just had a local winner in the creative writing category who got the most social media votes this past fall. And she won her money for writing about her experience with reckless and distracted driving. The categories, I'm just going to give you a little hint. The categories that get the least amount of entries are our creative writing category, and then also the Spanish categories. So if you know Spanish, even if it's a TikTok video, less than 60 seconds long, good safe driving message, just research reckless and distracted driving and use that to make your video, and you have a high chance of winning, especially if you enter into the Spanish categories. But yeah, thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, no problem. You're a person of many talents: music, journalism, activism. It's like I don't know what other secrets you have. We could talk about it another time. Maybe come on the podcast or something. But yeah, I want to help out with the immigration issues and in the future, and I'm down to help out with whatever. But anybody have anything to say? Anything to chime in right now? Olivia, anything? What's going on over there in the Morro Bay area? You know, you did one time talk about there are some community activists that you're aware of.
Yeah,
and whatnot.
I can shout out a couple of
groups out here. There's AACC Slow out here. They're a group out, and then there is Race Matters Slow. So those are both good activist groups to get involved with on the Central Coast. They provide a lot of educational opportunities, and have been running a lot of the campaigns to get more representation for the students at Cal Poly, and other members of the community in the Central Coast area.
What did you do? What did you help out with, Lisa and Women Wise with?
So Lisa and some of the younger people in Visalia had posted a lot of Black Lives Matters. Well, but a bunch of the high schoolers had posted Black Lives Matter signs at LD Monte. I'm sure most of you guys have already heard the whole story about what happened with those being taken down, and then the city deciding to take them down. And so when they got permission from one of the local churches to put up signs, she and a couple other community leaders put together a sign making workshop outside at the nearby park in the morning. So I just helped out with that a little bit, got things set up, hung up some signs, and there was a march through downtown. And then after that, all of those signs were torn down by another person. And then when they were put back up, the city then had decided that it was in violation of some code and had them take them all back down. So that's been an ongoing struggle in Visalia specifically.
Yeah, I can't remember what the ordinance was. I talked to the Visalia City Council member Brett Taylor. He was saying that he signed off on some kind of ordinance, a sign ordinance where there's some issues, but I think it's pretty ridiculous that it's been like a big fiasco and whatnot. I'm glad that they got things in like the art gallery, because that's kind of pretty cool. They got some signs in the art gallery, like talking about social justice, and you don't really see that in art gallery, so that's pretty cool. Like that, the gallery, I think it's Visalia Arts Gallery. I can't remember the exact name, but it's cool that they're hosting that, and I'm looking forward to finding out more about Women Wise and whatnot, and what their future plans are, because I know they've got a lot of stuff planned, and Lisa actually did reach out, say that she's sorry, or not sorry, but that she wished she could be here and participate, but there's a lot of issues going on in other events that she has to be at. But anyways, this was really cool. Anybody else have anything to say or share? But feel free to take off. You don't have to stick around the whole time. It's already 8:00. But Ashley, what were you gonna say?
Yeah, I was just thinking this is really great. Thank you for doing this again. I would love to see us to get more activists get on the call, and also have talks about different projects that we are doing or how we can help each other. Maybe do like a themed one, like on voting rights or registering people to vote, or like talking about immigrant issues, and center the talks around there so that we can be effective and try to figure out how to help all of our surrounding communities on their projects and stuff, and get ideas on how to fix the problems too.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Let's try to meet up about that and brainstorm. I know Alex was saying the same thing. Him and I were planning on hosting a meeting tomorrow, and we were gonna plan on telling everyone here and out there, watching on Facebook and stuff. Let's meet tomorrow. Take what we learned today, meet tomorrow. But then he has work, and then and everything, and I think we do need a little bit more time. And I want to talk to you about what should we do? How do we actually get everyone together? It doesn't have to be a live stream thing at all. More of a closed meeting sort of thing, and just real focus on brainstorming and planning. And you have a lot of experience doing that, so let's figure it out. How do we make change? Now we're trying to connect everyone, getting kind of the ball rolling with that, because you already got the ball started over there in Kings County, and you got a lot of people in Tulare County trying to get things going. And let's try to work together and do what we can and get people connected and networking and to figure out where to go from here. So I think we might try to plan something for next week. I don't know what day, but let's try to look at our schedules. I know you have a lot of pretty much every week you got something going on, so we can work around you, or you can just tell us like what we can do, and we'll try to figure it out. But I think we're on to start something, and I like your idea. Yeah, like let's get a theme going, like because today was kind of free for all. We didn't know what to expect. I didn't know who's coming. I think we had like 16 or 120 or 15, 12, I don't know, participants at one time, which was nice to have them. But then, only one person asked a question really from the community, or a couple, maybe, because I think everyone gets shy. It's like, especially if it's live stream, it's like kind of everyone gets shy, and maybe we should have like a form, like Google form or something like that, and people can what are your issues? What are the issues that you care about? And we type it in.
And yeah, that would be great. And because I remember we made the registration form for the MLK thing, you can have a question, like if you have questions beforehand, if you want to, or issues and stuff, we could put it on the registration form so people can ask before they're signing up.
Yeah, and I totally forgot. Like I was gonna, we didn't have a registration form, but I was planning to say, put your email in the chat so we can stay connected. But I didn't even say anything like that. It was just real. Today was real, like
that's
whatever you call it, unorganized. But yeah, I wish I would have said something, because the only person that was reaching out to us was like a troll. I think he's all, can I have all your numbers, please? Mm-hmm. And I was just like, that sounds like a troll. And then, was that really a troll? Do you think it was a troll or no?
I don't know. Sometimes people just.
I feel bad calling people trolls. I don't mean troll. Like, I don't mean any harm.
I feel like you should stop calling people trolls.
But I didn't give that. The internet gave him that name. And okay, Zoom bomber. I feel like that's even worse. That's even like scarier. The people, like the first time I heard a Zoom bomber, I was scared. I was like, "What's a Zoom bomber?" Well, that sounds real dangerous. But really, they can't do anything. Just mess with the Zoom call. But I guess it is kind of annoying. But either troll, Zoom bomber, I don't know. I've had so many that I'm kind of desensitized with them, so I don't really care anymore. But who's in the chat now? Who is that? That's what your siblings call each?
That's what my siblings.
Trolls?
Trolls. I assume trolls.
Well, overall, good stuff. Yeah, I feel like if we can get a little more organized, and have some real things to talk about, that are themes, and then get people to ask, signed up and asking questions, and email, maybe collect their emails to let people know what's next. But it was a good one. Good guests, and good discussions. And I don't know, when do you think we should have another people's town hall?
I feel like the earliest would be 2 weeks from now, and I feel like once a month would be good, just in general. But if you wanted to do another one, like the next one could just be like, what are your issues in the Central Valley? Bring them and let's talk about it. And you make it kind of like a round table so people can talk, so you can see what other organizations or people, what work they're doing, what concerns they have, and then we can have like an open like dialogue after people are able to speak, like their 5 minutes or something. Give each person like 3 to 5 minutes, and then from what we gather from there, we could make themes going on after that, like how do we fix this issue, and then that would be the next one. So far
today, I'm not against it. I'm all for it. Today was more like networking, kind of people plugging things, which is fine. But we didn't get into detail about like people's real concerns, like at the what is it, the city council meeting. People sometimes go up and they say like, there's Dutch Brothers, why did you put Dutch Brothers there? And now there's traffic and right next to my house, and I hear people honking, and then I hear people getting like real highly caffeinated on Dutch Brothers coffee, and they get all hyper. and then they complain about that stuff, and then it's fine, they got to complain about it, but that's what I was like kind of thinking. But someone did ask about sustainability and environmentalism, so that I think that is like a big kind of issue that. And I think they were a college student, so that's something that some people, like more of the younger generation, kind of bring up more, and whatnot. So that's a good theme to kind of talk about. But good plan, good idea. um, we can let's
Yeah.
try to do that. I don't think we need to rush into having another one and whatnot. But I think
I
Alex
think
and we did want to. We were trying to hold some kind of event in honor of Black History Month, and maybe you can give us some ideas because we wanted to do something like with Allensworth, like kind of educate. I don't know if that's like a
they
presentation or like
they have. I will just like I would do the about Allensworth. They're actually having a tour on Monday. I posted the flyer with all my slides information on it, but it's like the last slide. But I'm having a tour. I'm not sure if it's free or not, but they give you it's a virtual one, so it's on Zoom. And I would just blast that so people know that that's something that's here locally, and with just some facts. Like you can even use the slides that I made to like just put some certain facts on there. And there's this Friends of Allensworth that is like an organization that works with the state historical park um, to throw events, and they have information. They have like a lesson plan to teach students about stuff like that. So
okay.
I know they're always engaged trying to get people to go. So I would think contacting them would be the best bet to figure out how to you can do something, because I would love to do something too. And now with the restrictions have lifted in California, you are allowed to go to the state park now, so you can go, and I think you can also camp there. But I mean, yeah, so you can camp. I just don't like the cold. That's why that face that I made. That was just 'cause I hate cold, and I was just thinking about sleeping outside in the cold. But yeah, they
Winter,
like
probably not the best time to do that, but
yeah, but and also the Amtrak takes you will like the Amtrak on the events that Friends of Allen Works or the State Historical Park have. The Amtrak will usually just stop. There's not an official train station or anything like that, but they will make that stop that day during the times that it's operating, and take you there and back depending on which direction you're going. And then if you had I think it's 10 or 20 people a planned trip, and you call Amtrak, they will have it stop at the time that you need to be stopped over there. So it takes you right in front of it. Like it's literally you get off the train and you go into the park basically.
Yeah.
So that is, and I think Crystal Jackson from NAACP mentioned that they were trying to figure out ways to get more people involved and knowing. So I would contact Friends of Allensworth or contact Crystal Jackson and try to get that contact that she was talking about.
Yeah, I'm definitely planning on doing that, and I think because Alex and I were thinking maybe we could get someone from them to do like one of these things and come speak, or we could figure out something like that. But that is a good idea. And then in the future, I definitely want to check it out. I feel like I've driven through, but I don't know for sure. I went to some like I know near it there was like some kind of bird refuge or something, and I went to go. It was like a pond, not pond, but like a slough sort of thing. I don't know geography that well or whatever they call that. But it was like some kind of it was like a reserve, a preserve sort of thing, a nature reserve, preserve. I don't know the term, but it was cool, and I believe it was near there, but I don't know for sure. But it would be interesting, to bring more awareness of that because that is something. I hear like little things about it, and it seems interesting. But a buddy of mine, a musician, actually named Buddy. It's kind of funny I just said that. But Buddy Jones, he was a speaker at the Martin Luther King Jr. event. He has a lot of knowledge about that, and so I'm gonna reach out to him as well to talk because he was talking about Buffalo Soldiers with Sequoia and Allensworth, and like he's just like I don't know what's the expression, wealth of information or depth or well of information. I'm bad at remembering things today. If that's
Darth.
What? What? I can't hear you, Olivia.
A dearth of information.
A dearth? Can you put it in the chat? Because I can't really understand you, but I'm really curious. No, I'm not gonna do that. I'll look it up. How come I don't know the expressions? Like, and you do. That's weird that you like know all the expressions. But yeah, there's cool things planned. We are kind of getting late start, but we did the MLK event, and that was like 3 days in advance, and we did pretty well with that.
Yeah, that was a really good turnout.
So, but yeah, let's stay in contact, and hopefully we get some things rolling this month, and then yeah, I want to definitely keep this up at least monthly. This wealth of information. Okay, that's all Darth Vader of information. No, wealth. He's a wealth of. That doesn't sound right. Wealth of information, but I guess it is. Anyway, he's just has an abundance of information inside of him, and I'd love to speak with him more. Anyway, yeah. Good evening. Everyone have a good evening. If you want to take off, you can. I'm probably just gonna stick around and mumble.
Thanks for doing this, Justin and Ashley. It's always great to hear what you have to say about what's going on in the community, and yeah, I look forward to Justin having you post some of her stuff on on the Facebook so that everybody can make sure they're following Black Lives Matter Hanford. That's true. That'll be great, and amplify their voice. Use your platform to amplify what she is doing in the community.
Good call. For sure. All right. Well, thank you everyone that joined. And bye, Olivia. Thank you all that came and whatnot. Ashley and everybody. Ashley's gone now. Yvette's gone and Olivia. It's only me. I thought Hash was coming back, but I don't know. I'll give him a call right now on this. Are we still live? Or still live? Okay. I'm gonna call him and see what he says. I think he's drinking. But I guess I could play a song. I was gonna play a song. Hey, you're live.
Am I live right now?
Yeah, you're on the phone. Hello.
What's cracking? Hey, we thought we were kind of taking over your Zoom, so we got off. But if you're ready, we'll get back on.
It's just me right now, and I feel lonely.
Oh, you're the only person?
Everyone dipped. They said it's getting late. It's 8 o'clock.
I'm getting on right now.
You don't have to, but yeah.
Oh, what do you mean I don't have to? I want to.
All right.
How many people are watching on Facebook?
Probably not. No, we got really. It looks like 0, but they might come on if you come on. But,
he said 0 are on Facebook, but he's gonna record it all and it'll be there to watch tomorrow. So you want to jump back on? Let's try our set again. Now that we're not. Yeah. Hey, we're gonna do our whole set in a row right now instead of playing them all.
Chopped up.
I'm jumping.
We have one person on Twitch. You got one person on Twitch.
Hey, oh yeah, Tyler really wants me to make everyone know that these are all covers.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, you knew that though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I thought it went unspoken, but I got it. All right. I'm getting on right now.
All right. Bye. Oh, that was very interesting. People's Town Hall. Yeah, that was a very interesting town hall.
Hey, these guys are really digging the Sunshine Rain jams.
Thank you. Yeah, I really liked your guys' set too. But yeah, do whatever you want to do right now.
Feel free if you know the chords. Like if you feel the chords, play with us.
It won't line up right. I'll have to mute and play along, but that's fine. I'll do that.
I know. I tried Zoom band practice last time with my last band, and it didn't work because there was a delay.
Yeah, it is. There is delay.
On the quarantine.
We got one person on Twitch watching you. One audience member on Twitch.
Hey, Justin, how were the levels the second time we played? Do we need to adjust anything?
The lead vocal could be tiny bit louder, but I mean it's your call. Like it's kind of more punk. It had a good punk
I'm
element.
you, the lead vocals. The lead vocals are not real lead vocals. I'm not a good singer. And it's better that way.
We have one person on.
You got a bunch of backup singers.
We have one person on Instagram Live watching. One person on Twitch. One person on Instagram Live. One person on Facebook.
All right, let's start with that. Let's start with that.
What do they want to hear? What do they want to hear?
The very first song we played.
Just do your own set. Do your set however you want.
Oh yeah. No, but I'd like to rebut it. You know,
Hey, come on.
What?
I want to see
anything.
the Constitution burn. Want to watch the White House overturn. Want to witness some blue blood bleed red. Walk on and it's KKK. Want to pull and see the NRA. Yeah. Murder the government. 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 There's a man that anything to me. I'm not crazy. Well, that's not true. I've got a pen and my guitar in a talking dog whose pisses on my floor. That's right, I got a floor. So what? So what? So what? I got pockets full of greatness and living home. Everything put into me, fall right down my legs, onto the floor. My closest friend and only one, that's all me. Support my head, give me something to believe. That's me on the beach side, Tillman says, meter in my hand, spawn a pocket full of shit. That's me, the thing with the violin under my chin, playing with a grin, singing GPA. That's me on the path of the bus, that's me in the pit. That's me inside your head. That's me inside your head.
Woo! Nice.
to the belief, to the subject, down to move. There wasn't nowhere in the place to go, but there was always somewhere to be to belong, yeah. All these decades, all these people, all these things, what you gonna do when everybody goes on, yeah. And 89, ground garage on man will play anytime. It's just a poor book, it's just a poor book. So much attention on the road and need a gun. Focus on tour, 2,000 miles. Couldn't for no car, now the world is going under. We can see miles. No coming in the back. Yeah. Journey to the end, journey to the end. He said it was a matter, said this ain't no matter, man. But God, he must go by. He had no hope, he had no food, he's all alone. And then from one thing, did it for me, why he was back. Yeah, that's journey to the end, that's journey to the end,
Play that
Yeah.
Blink-182. Green Day? Or Blink-182.
Wait, which one? Oh, fuck. I can't get through that whole song.
Yes, you can.
Oh, man.
I can't do that one.
All right, let's do the Green Day song and then we'll go from there.
What do you got earlier, Green Day? I know you know some Kerplunk shit.
Not the whole shit like that.
Let's do it.
Mother, can you hear me whining? It's the blue helmet. It's better here as left to be trained. It's the baby, please take that. Pay attention to the catching stand up of it. Don't get it, night. I wanna take you through a wasteland of access on my own.
Welcome to
Mother, can you hear me laughing? It's the day almost of your own. It's better fear as left me trembling. You're cutting against action. Where can I go? Pay attention to the crutches and the broken own. Don't call it something, call it mine. I wanna take you through a wasteland like this on my own. Welcome to paradise.
You're asking too much of me on that.
Call the bass player out. Yeah. This is what you get, Justin. You get band practice.
What about the one we played?
When I come around.
The basket case.
Oh yeah.
No. Remember? So we played basket case and we played longest line.
Good riddance.
Same shit.
Oh yeah, longest line.
Count it off. Just watch me, bro. Come on, you'll get it. Just feel it.
So what's the first note?
C. C, G, A. And there was like F.
Right, it's just a headlight. Nothing right, that's totally right for me. Great tonight, we're not the same, no. I am the one Johnny Carcinogen.
I must have fucked with some way to touch me, cause me terrified. That's the end of the longest line. That's who I will always be. If you need to find me, just go to the end of the But I'm pretty sure that was a yellow light. The light was red sun. The morning makes the red strong. This can't be right, I must be wrong. I don't belong, this world is much too dangerous for someone who lacks like point like me. At the end of the longest line, that's where I will always be. If you need to find me, just go to the longest line. At the end of the longest line, that's who I will always be. At the end of the
How many people are online now? 2?
I don't know.
1? You?
You got volumes now.
You got
Justin.
You got one on
Is it too much?
Instagram still. One on Twitch.
Not that it matters. I mean, we're having fun. What do you want to play?
Let's play some more NoFX. Pretty much a solid block of NoFX we have for you here. Solid.
No.
Or Buddy Holly. You want to hear Buddy Holly?
Anything.
Mercedes on vocals. Come on, it's your jam. Like, come on, tell me you did. What the first line is? What with his homies dissing my boy?
Dissing my girl.
Dissing my girl, whatever. It could be, dissing y'all. Let's change our neutral.
You want to play it? Wait, are we on the chorus already?
Yeah.
All right.
Start if you want to do it. Start from the beginning.
All right.
What does these homies dissing my girl? What does this build a bill? Just like Buddy Holly. Every kind of more. I don't care what they say about us. I don't care about that. I'm always there.
You want to try it again?
town hall was a success. We're gonna do it in a couple of weeks or 2 or a month. I don't know, but we'll keep you informed about it. Next event is Bob Marley's birthday, February 6th. Gonna start at about 4 p.m., but it really starts at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I hope you can make it. There's 3 stages. It's on Zoom. It's all on Zoom. It's all on Zoom. It's all on Zoom. February 6th, this Saturday, in like 3 days or so from now. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then we'll be dancing the night away. Stay tuned for that. We'll have more for you. It'll be a real good time, just like tonight. So stay tuned. All right, everyone, have a great day.